Okay, so today's topic is going to be the purpose behind your yes is needed 100 miles. Okay, and there's a reason why I'm doing this. Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Okay, so the purpose behind my your yes is needed 100 miles is to use it as a tool. Am I saying that the skinny that you're going to get, the less anxiety that you're going to have? No. As a reminder, I went to the psych ward after I lost 100 pounds. So it has nothing to do with how much weight you lose. It has everything to use the fitness as a tool for your advantage. So you can use physical fitness as a tool to unlock your character and mental weaknesses. You take your physical weaknesses and you unlock your own mental stoppages. That's all. That's the reason why I'm doing this. Is this for everyone? No. Some people that have always used physical fitness may not use this as a tool, or maybe they will. It's really up to them. But if physical fitness is not your then it could be a huge advantage for you mentally that can take you to places that you never even knew, like it's taking me. So that's why I started this challenge is for you. It's a win-win for you no matter what. You're going to win mentally, you're going to win physically. Your work clothes might fit you again. So it's a win-win for you. It does nothing for me. The only thing I'm doing is mailing you a shirt. That's it. It's a win-win for you. So I didn't realize that I used this tool until after I almost weighed 300 pounds. Until after I got out of the military and gained 100 pounds. Because growing up, I've always been athletic. Even while I was in the military, I was always using like the gym, but I never used it to reach mental limit, to use it as challenges. It was just something that I just did that, didn't never use it until after I gained a lot of weight. And the reason why I started this challenge was so that I can share my personal experience for your gain. Okay, so this is what I'll say. The reason for why I started the 100 miles challenge, run or walk, or 300 miles bike, and the reason why it's free, and there's a reason why there's no deadline to finish, and I'll break every single down. All right. So one thing that I have learned is that people don't like the word free. Believe it or not, people don't like free. So before Corona hit, I had a free gym and no one went to it, which is fine because it brought me back to the drawing board. It was like, what made me go back to a gym if I was already surrounded by gyms? And so I realized it wasn't about like $10 a month, or it wasn't free. It's just that no one likes the word free. So because in back of your mind, you feel like you're not losing nothing, right? Like if you had paid for a membership like that was $100 a month or more, maybe you'll push yourself and you're like, you know what? I'm going to use this membership because I paid so much money for it. But if it's free, you're not losing nothing. So that's where the reason why it's free. So you can get that out of your head and use and take advantage of things that are free out there. And be like, man, if this is free, what else is free? So you can start using it for your advantage, okay? So the reason why there's no deadline, and it's because so to show you how you plan. Are you a procrastinator? Are you a person that puts things to the side? Did you automatically say, I got time? And that's the most dangerous thing that we have is we always feel like we have time. We feel like there's time is to our advantage when time is the only thing in this world that we can't get back. We can always get money back, we can get material things back, but we can't get time back. So how we use our time is actually more valuable than anything else in this world. So if the reason why there wasn't a deadline, so you can see for yourself how you plan. Are you a planner? I'm going to post something that Warren Buffett said. Now, these are his words, not mine. So he said, an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without a plan. And one thing that I started doing when I went to a gym and I started writing things down in a notepad because I didn't know what I was doing. I may think I know what I'm doing, but if you don't write things down, you don't have a plan. You don't have goals. So I started writing everything down. Tuesday, I'm going to do this. Wednesday, I started even like with my runs. If you guys notice on social media, I post all my runs on my bike because I have to do that for me. Because if I don't see a plan, then I don't have a goal. I don't have nothing to go for. So one thing that I did when I was reaching 100 pounds is that um, another thing to plan is like, how are you breaking down the 100 miles? The reason why I did 100 miles is because to make it look like it's impossible. I did that on purpose. But as the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it's done. But you just have to use creativity. Did you look at the 100 miles? You're like, oh, hell no, I ain't doing that. Or were you like, all right, I got this. But then usually people are motivated for like 5 miles and then they're done. They're done. They do 10 miles and then they're done. They're like, well, I got time. Like there's no deadline. So all this is just exposing you. Doesn't do nothing with me. I'm good. It's just exposing you. That's all. So no one told you to look at the 100 miles and say like, man, there was no rules to break down the 100 miles. You could have done 5 a week, or you could have done what I did, how I lost weight. I broke it down by 4 categories. I didn't say, oh, I got 100 pounds to lose. I said, I have 25 pounds to lose. Oh, I have 50 pounds to lose. I manipulated my mind to see the smaller number instead of the bigger picture, because if I can see the smaller number, it looks possible more than the bigger number. So that's what I did to lose 100 pounds is I manipulated myself. So instead of using 100 miles and be like, oh, damn, that's too long, that's too much, break it down. No one told you that you could not do it, but don't think yet you have time. Learn how to take advantage of your time, okay? So in this challenge, as you're reaching 100 miles, you're going to find more things about yourself. You're going to realize that your feet hurt, your back hurts, you have a lot of distractions. You have a lot of people like, hey, let's do this. You're like, well, I was supposed to do 2 miles and then I quit. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Famous words. I'm going to do it Monday. Everyone's goals and dreams starts on Monday. It's almost miraculous how that happens. I'm guilty of it. Everyone's dream starts on Monday. But the thing is, that's you. If you always postpone the smallest things about yourself, you're always going to postpone those small things that matter to become the bigger picture. That's it. And that's one thing that I learned. It's the small habits that have become us. It's the smallest things that I do that makes me become this person that I am right now. The fact that I wake up at 5:30 in the morning to meditate and read and pray. The thing that I do every single day to become this person so I can have my peace. That's all. And become smaller and have peace. That's a win-win for me. There are some things in life that will purposely wake that thing up inside of you. Everyone has this thing, right? This, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes there are people in life where you will have to purposely meet them. There are situations in life that have to purposely happen to wake that thing up. And the thing is, once it wakes up, welcome it. If you're always having like, oh man, I should be doing something, or you're always feeling like you're stuck, or you're feeling like I should be doing something else, welcome it. It's that thing that woke up. So you just have to channel it. And that's what I use physical fitness for, is to channel what is it that I'm supposed to do. So one of the things that I was telling my running buddy, Escobar has been my running buddy since February. So not everyone's going to get lucky and find the perfect running buddy. Some things you're just going to have to do by yourself. Deal with it. Okay? Like, well, no, like, oh, I want to do this. Deal with it. I promise you, no one is sometimes you have to finish your goals by yourself, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, because as I learned as a lone wolf, like as I learned by doing things by myself, as all the gyms are closed, I am my biggest applause. I am the, yeah, you got this, go. There is none right now. Maybe there's gyms are, slowly opening, but the past few months, you were your only biggest cheerleader. That's it. No one told you to stop. It's just like people were waiting. But that's one greatest thing about doing things by yourself, is that you're going to discover what's really inside of you. So welcome it. So one of the things I told her I was going to share this conversation, one of the challenges that we had, right? So I'm going to share this video with you. And Adrian, let me know if you can hear it.
Because I keep a list of all the people who've ever doubted me. I recommend you do the same. Because here's the truth. The beautiful thing that you want to create, that's going to sustain you a lot. But in the really dark times, the only thing that's going to come to your rescue is a chip placed firmly on your shoulder. That is the truth of the human condition, boys and girls. Ask yourself one fundamental question. If anger didn't have a use, why did it develop? Rage is intoxicating. There's a certainty to it. You can become so aggressive when you have it. There are obstacles that simply fall by the wayside because you're able to channel that anger. They actually did a study, and they wanted to see how much pain people could tolerate. They made them submerge their arm in a bucket of ice and then pull it out whenever they just could not stand it anymore. And they came up with a baseline. And then they said, we're going to do it again. But this time, just when you think you can't take it anymore, I want you to scream every obscenity you can think of and see how much longer you can hold it in. People were able to keep it in 30% longer. If you want to know what's going to come to your rescue in the moments of most turbulence, it is going to be that. It is going to be the people who want you to fail. It is going to be all the people who told you you were never going to make it. It's going to be you reacting to your own negative voice that's going to tell you that you can't make it. And it's going to be you saying, fuck that, I can do whatever I set my mind to if I'm willing to pay the price. Because I keep a list.
I watched that video
of all the people
about a year and a half ago, and I didn't agree with it. Okay, and there's some things that you guys are not going to agree with me or understand. So I didn't agree with it because I didn't believe that you should carry anger, right? But that's not what he meant. So even though I was lifting like more weights and everything, didn't understand it until I started running. Running taught me more about myself than anything has. And I'll tell you why. Running is my biggest weakness because I have very weak legs because of my surgeries. Running is my biggest challenge because I still have a deteriorating ACL and torn meniscus and arthritis. I am very strict with my diet because I want to run. I've learned that I'm a very disciplined person when I want something. I've learned that I am untouchable when I go for it. I realize that no one can do it for me except for me all through running. Lifting weights and everything, that was cute and everything. I got little baby muscles, but running, you run by yourself. There's no one carrying you. There's no one that you have to carry. There's no cheerleaders except for the music that's in your head. And it's just you and your thoughts that's teaching you everything about you. You have so many thoughts that go through your head when you're running and you're walking. And that's what I love about it. It's taught me everything that I know about myself right now. It's taught me everything to know and how I can get out of the psych ward in November and become the person I am today. And you got people questioning, how did she do that? And the best thing is I don't have to pretend or fake it. I'm living it. I get to go to sleep at night with peace. I get to have a clear conscience. And running has taught me more about me than anything else in this world. So one thing, we started off at 3 miles. My knees kept blocking. I kept falling. I kept stumbling. I kept having to ice it. And I was like, I can run. I just got to keep Googling and doing some more research. So then we increased it to 5 miles. Oh man, it was lock after lock. I was like, all right, I'm doing something wrong because I know I can do this. So when we started running, I started Googling like, how do I become a better runner? And it's one of the things was we needed to add hills. So I was like, all right, well, let's do some hills. And one of the things that my running buddy noticed was like, she was like, man, you're really good at hills. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. And so the next time we did a hill, I wanted to know where my mind went. I wanted to know where does my mind take me when I do these hills, because on flatland, I'm like, but on the hills, man, I'm like, bro, I'm good. So when as Tom Billy was saying, it's like you need to keep that chip on your shoulder, right? And I do. When I'm up that hill, I think of all the people that pissed me off, and I didn't even know that. So it's like I open that door, and as soon as I go on top of the hill, I close it. It's like my nitro. So then I asked her, I was like, "Well, what do you think of when you see a hill?" She goes, "When I see a hill, I want to give up." I go, I've known you for 11 years, and you're a very passive person, and you're very like, oh, that has nothing to do with me. You avoid conflict. You're kind of like, I don't want drama, which is fine. I don't think none of us does. But sometimes it's okay to get conflict in your life when you don't see something that you agree with. So I was like, you have to be okay with challenges in your life. You have to be okay with the conflict that you're fighting. You have to be okay with that. So I told her, start listening to David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me and what he had to endure and his mindset. I adapted some of his mindset. And so one of the things that what she does is that she started listening to what she was running. And I noticed every time we hit a hill, she slowly starts passing me, but I take off. And I was like, stop doing that. She's like, what? I go, every time I get near you, you give up. You're like, oh, stop doing that. Because you're not going, you're like, well, she got it. No, fight it. Pass me up. Do it. Push it inside of you. You have the engine. You have the leg. You physically can do it. The only thing that's going to stop you is you mentally. You stop yourself every single time. I'm out here dealing with physical challenges. Mentally, I'm unstoppable. You physically can do anything, but you're mentally exhausting yourself. So, okay, next hill. She did really good. Oh yeah, she passed me up. But then towards the end, when she saw that we had a third hill, she gave up again. So this is some of the things that she's working on herself just by running, drastically improving, wanting to know what she eats because she wants to see, now she's wanting the best version of herself. She's like, it's almost an addiction. Running is not going to change your life. It's what running does to us that is changing our life. You don't have to pick running. You can pick anything that you want. But running, I pick it because it's the hardest thing for me. I don't want the easiest thing. Give me the hardest thing for me because I'm going to figure out how to master it. Okay? And I don't care who gets credit because I'm the one that's going to finish the finish line without anyone carrying me because I want it so bad and I'll figure it out. So another thing was like, all right, so Hills has given us both a lesson. So we both see what Hills do. And I'll tell you what, and this is what Tom says, like the outcome of your life will be determined what you allow from yourself. Because I want it so bad, it's like I planned this. I plan everything around my runs. And I don't feel like it all the time. It's not like, you see how I am, like, yeah, okay, but in real life, I'm like, oh my God. It's true. Don't don't let this like energy fool you like Monday through Friday because I'm like, I don't feel like running. You have to fight it. Pray for discipline. That's what I say all the time. Motivation is crap. Pray for discipline because discipline is what will get you to the 5, 6, 7, 8 mile. So when I was telling her today, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna share our story about the challenge show. She was like, so she was expressing how she has like anxiety for our PR tomorrow, all right? So we're going to reach 17 miles tomorrow, which we both never reached 17 miles in our life, all right? There's things that we do before, like stretching, hydrating, and all this other stuff, and mentally preparing ourselves for tomorrow's run. And she's like, I have a lot of anxiety. I go, me too. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I know this. I've been down this road. I was like, if it was 13 miles, you'll have no problem because you already did that. You wouldn't look at the weather. You wouldn't look at your shoes. You wouldn't look at your back. You wouldn't look at nothing. You'd be like, oh, yeah, 13 miles, we did that. Because it's 17 miles, you're tapping into the unknown. It's okay not to know everything. It's okay not to know what's going to happen. Discover it. Look for it. Reach for it. Beg for it. Because both of us have never reached 17 miles. Does it give us anxiety? Hell yeah, it gives us anxiety. It's the unknown. But that's how faith works. It's the unknown. You're not going to know what you're going to go into, but you believe it because you've trained for it. It's not like we just did it overnight. So she says, like, ever since we had that talk, she goes, anytime I feel like I'm down, I give self the boost. I call it the nitro. Everyone needs the nitro. Open that chip, but you need a nitro in your life. Okay? Don't act like you ain't mad. Don't act like, oh no, it's okay. It's okay to admit it. But don't dwell in it. That's the difference. He said it right. Don't dwell in it. Just remember that it's there. Remember why you're in the situation that you're in. Okay? Not because you're pointing fingers. If I was pointing fingers, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be this successful. Pointing fingers doesn't get you nowhere. Okay? Like this, you want to point the finger here like, how can I make me better? How can I find the best version of myself? That's how you get you better. Is emptying out. Emptying out all the stuff that has been holding you back to become lighter, to become able to do the next. Okay? So one of the things is find you a boost, find you a nitro, and find you a challenge and do it on purpose. And don't quit. That's the thing. Like 100 miles may seem like it's impossible, but it's on purpose. The reason why there's not a deadline is on purpose. Check out your timing, check out your creativity, check out your excuses, check yourself out. And use physical fitness as a tool to find out where your mental weaknesses are at. Where's your characteristic flaws at? I do it all the time. I want to empty out. The less I empty out, the more I starve my pride, the better for me. I win. So, and I'll give you one last thing before we go. And actually two. And I'll give you these two things. The purpose of pain is to move us into action. Okay? It's not to make us suffer. When my knees locked, I didn't quit. I did research into figuring out what it is that I can do to become better. That's why I gave up gluten. That's why I gave up alcohol. And I'm no longer an alcoholic because of running. And that's why I gave up red meat. Because I do these things to find the best version of myself. Will I have a burger eventually? Yeah. But do I need it right now? No, I'm fine. I never thought I would say that. And then like Tom says, you can literally change the world, but you're going to have to be the one to change yourself first. That's it. You can't. Everyone always waits for someone else to do it. There's not enough radicals out there. Stop being a people pleaser. You're never going to get to the next level being a people pleaser. Never. You're not. So I dare you to be radical. I dare you to stop being a people pleaser. I dare you to disappoint your dysfunction, and I dare you to challenge yourself because you're the only person that's going to benefit from it. So have a good night, and I hope you got something out of this to continue finding the best version of yourself.